Stay safe against Corona, COVID-19. Keep safe distance, wash your hand regularly. Forever Feast. Subscribe to our channel and click bell button to get updating videos. Thanks for the subscribers to supporting our channel. Part 2. Number 1, Melita Bentz, from 1873 to 1950. If you like coffee, you can thank German entrepreneur Melita Bentz for making it easier to brew. Bentz was a housewife when she became frustrated with the difficulty of making coffee. Percolators often overbrewed it, the espresso-style machines of her day left grounds in the drink, and linen bag filters were extremely difficult to clean. After experimenting with multiple materials, she struck on the idea of using blotting paper from her son's school exercise book, nested inside a brass pot perforated with a nail. She got a patent and set up a business to manufacture her filters. Within a year, she was selling hundreds of her filters, including 1,200 at the 1909 Leipzig Fair alone, and by 1928 her company employed dozens of people. She continued to improve her filter over the years, making it increasingly popular. Bentz was beloved by her employees for her generous bonuses and work schedules, and she also created Melita Aid, a social fund for her company's workers. And if the name sounds familiar, don't be surprised, the Melita Group is still making coffee makers and filters today. Number 2, Beulah Louise Henry. From 1887 to 1973. A full list of Beulah Louise Henry's inventions would be a lengthy one. She's known for 110 inventions and 49 patents, and the American inventor profited from all of them. Henry submitted her first patent, for a vacuum ice cream freezer, while still a college student in 1912, and moved to New York City in 1924 to found two companies to sell her many inventions. In the 1930s and 1940s, she shifted her attention to improving existing machines, including typewriters. One of her patents, for a protograph, was a typewriter that created an original and 4 identical copies without carbon paper. With her reputation as a professional inventor solidified, she spent the 1950s and part of the 1960s working for companies as a consultant, and when she died in 1973 she was remembered by all for her creativity and drive. Henry, however, would have argued that she didn't need drive to create so many inventions. I invent, she said, because I cannot help it. Number 3, Ruth Graves Wakefield, from 1903 to 1977. Every single thing we use in a day had an inventor somewhere along the line, even the chocolate chip cookie. American entrepreneur Ruth Graves Wakefield was unusual for her time. She was a university graduate who began her career touring as a dietitian to teach people about food and nutrition. In 1930, she and her husband bought the Toll House Inn, which quickly became famous for Wakefield's food, especially her desserts. However, Wakefield wanted to offer guests something different and new. She took an ice pick to a block of chocolate, added it to her cookie dough, and the chocolate chip cookie was born. When Wakefield reissued her best-selling cookbook, she added the Toll House Chocolate Crunch cookie to the dessert section. It was so popular that chocolate company Nestle noticed a spike in demand for their semi-sweet chocolate, and approached Wakefield about the rights to the recipe. Soon Nestle was making semi-sweet chips specifically for cookies, and printing the Toll House cookie recipe on every box. And Wakefield got a sweet though minimally profitable payout, $1 plus a lifetime supply of chocolate. Number 4, Hedy Lamarr, from 1914 to 2000. She was one of the most glamorous stars of the black and white film era, and she was also one of the minds behind an invention that provided the foundation for GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi technology. Austrian-American actress Hedy Lamarr was also a gifted mathematician and engineer, and when World War II broke out, she wanted to make a contribution to the war effort by improving torpedo technology. Working with musician and composer George Antheil, Lamarr developed the idea of frequency hopping, which could encrypt torpedo control signals, preventing enemies from jamming them and sending the torpedoes off course. Although Lamarr and Antheil were granted a patent for the idea in 1942, the U.S. Navy ignored their technology for 20 years, finally putting it to use during a 1962 blockade of Cuba. Since then, though, Lammer's spread-spectrum technology has become the foundation for the portable devices that we use every day, for which she was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2014. Number 5, Anna Stork and Andreas Rechta. Anna Stork and Andreas Rechta were graduate students at Columbia University's School of Architecture when the devastating earthquake hit Haiti in 2010. In one of their classes, they were assigned a project to find a way to help with disaster relief. After speaking to a relief worker, Stork and Rechta realized that there was an often forgotten need after disasters strike: light. The pair decided to create an inflatable, waterproof, and solar-powered light, the Lumine ID Solar Light. Their design can be packed flat, charges in 6 hours to provide light for 16, and even features a handle to make it easy to carry. They used a crowdfunding campaign to make their first 1,000 lights, and after Lumine ID became a favorite with outdoor enthusiasts and in-home emergency kits, they started a Give Light project. 1 light is donated for every light purchased. They have since provided lights to Nepal and to Syrian refugees. Thanks to the work of these two creative innovators, more people will have access to the gift of light during the darkest of times. Anna and Andreas' Luminade Solar Light is now available on Amazon as a waterproof lantern or in a new version that includes the Lantern Plus phone charger. Number 6, Stephanie Kwolak, from 1923 to 2014. Chemist Stephanie Kwolak was working on an alternative for steel in radial car tires when she developed a fiber credited with saving thousands of lives, Kevlar. Born near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Polish immigrants, Kwolak originally planned to become a doctor, but after accepting a research position with DuPont in 1946 to save up for medical school, she discovered a passion for chemistry research that led to a 40-year career. She invented Kevlar in 1964 when an experiment with turning a solid polymer into a liquid didn't work as planned. While her peers considered the experiment a failure, Kwolak took a closer look, and discovered that fibers within the liquid were 5 times stronger than steel. Kevlar has since been used for everything from boots for firefighters to spacecraft parts, but it's most famous for its use in bulletproof body armor. Since Kevlar vests were introduced in the 1970s, at least 3,000 police officers' lives have been saved, as well as those of countless soldiers and civilians in combat zones. In fact, on the same day that Kwolak died, DuPont announced the sale of the 1 millionth protective vest using her invention. Thank you for watching.